good morning, and welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. While we wait for a few people to join us, let's go ahead and take a look at the garden. So we are beyond the summer, and the summer season is over with, but some of the fall flowers are doing really well. That's the pansy. You see it's leaning towards the sun, but that purple is absolutely gorgeous. The moms are still doing well. But guys, I got to tell you, every week I'm talking about this tomato plant. This tomato plant is still the star of the garden. It is November the 2nd, yet we still have tomatoes that are producing. It's doing better now than it did the entire summer. I don't know if you can see, but there is a cluster of 3 tomatoes there. There is a cluster there. It's so many on here that on yesterday I counted 16 tomatoes. There's another baby one right there. And this one is completely ripened, but I left it on here because I wanted you guys to see it on today. But I'm actually going to pick that one today so that the plant can put the energy into growing all of the other ones. Because honestly, if you know anything about tomatoes, everywhere you see one of these blooms, it will produce fruit. So let me see if I can find one of the teeny tiny little babies. Okay, here's one. See that little one there? There was a flower, but now it's a tomato. So it's actually gotten cold now. So at nighttime, I'm taking it in the house and I'm going to see if it will continue growing indoors through the rest of the fall and into the winter, because I want to be able to harvest as many of these as I can. Because like I said, it's got 16 tomatoes in various stages growing. Look at that cluster there. I'm just amazed by this. But I'm taking it indoors now so that the cold nights won't kill it prematurely. Although it's well beyond the summer season, and technically it shouldn't be producing anymore, but it's doing better now than it did throughout the summer. So we're going to see how long we can get it to last. So again, thank you for watching. We have a few people on this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, Judy. So today's topic is, please share the video, everyone. Today's topic is launch into the deep. Good morning, Dion. I had so much fun with you guys on Halloween, passing out cupcakes and treats to the kids. So anytime you need me to help or volunteer with something, you know I'm always here to help you. So today's topic is launch into the deep. So let's talk about launching for just a minute. When we launch something, it means to set it in motion or to start. When we launch a boat, it gets launched by pushing or rolling it into the water. Once a boat is launched, it will actually float atop. Good morning, Sierra. It will actually float atop the water. The boat is now in its element. It is in the place that it belongs. It is where it was intended to be. A boat on dry land will never float because it's out of its element. It spends its time getting pulled behind a truck or towed behind a truck just trying to get to the water. Many of us have some dreams, some ideas, some projects, and some inventions that we need to launch. We need to push or to roll them into its element. Right now, we are just dragging them around inside of us or behind us. But the ideas, the projects, the inventions, the dreams, they never float because they are out of their element. The ideas, the projects, the inventions, the dreams were never intended to stay inside of us. They belong to the people that's supposed to benefit from them. But they never float because they're outside of their element, trapped inside of us. Whatever that idea is, today I want to tell you to launch it. Whatever the project is, launch it. Whatever the invention is, launch it. Whatever the dream is, launch it. Even if somebody else is doing something similar, launch it. If it's never been done, launch it anyway. Write the book, start the TV show, start the podcast, try doing some stand-up comedy. Whatever it is that's been on the inside of you that you've been holding out from the world, it's time for you to launch it. Excuse me. And when it's outside of you, when you release it to the world, it'll be in its element and it will float. Good morning, Mickey. How is Brad and Brian doing? I haven't seen those guys in years. You know, I graduated high school with Brad. Went to school with him the entire time. So, but I haven't seen him in years. Tell him I said hello. And Brian, I think he went to school with my brother Floyd. But the caveat to this whole launching thing is we might have to launch it more than once. That means you might have to try doing something more than one time before it's successful. Luke chapter 5, verses 4 through 6 read, when he had stopped, and the he being here is Jesus, he said to Simon, launch it into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. But Simon answered and said to him, Master, we have toiled all night long and caught nothing. That means that they've been fishing all night. They've been casting their net all night, but they haven't caught any fish. But then Simon goes on to say, nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net. And when they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their net was breaking. When God tells you to do something, we should just do it. But what we do instead, good morning, Deb. What we do instead is list all the reasons why we shouldn't. Good morning, Pam. We say things like, I tried it before and I failed. I trusted people before and they lied. I went to the bank before and they turned me down. When God tells you to cast your net or to launch your business, your ministry, or your dreams, just do it. It doesn't matter how many times you tried it before. This time is different because you are following the master's plan instead of your own. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not onto your own understanding. Then, if we jump down to verse 11 of Luke in chapter 5, it says, so when they had brought their boats to land, they forsook all and followed him. Forsook means to abandon, renounce, or give up. Good morning, Robert. Let's say forsook means to abandon, renounce, or give up. Some of us need to forsake some stuff. Good morning, Sonia. Forsake some of the people that we've been running with. Forsake some habits, partying, drinking, drugs, overindulgence in social media, and some thought patterns as well. Forsake everything that is hindering your progress in life. Forsake those things that are preventing you from launching into the deep. Good morning, Kim. We know what those things are. Those things that you are carrying around in your belly that have been there since you were a teenager, since you were in middle school. Or maybe they came to you later in life. They came to you in your 20s or 30s, or you got this brilliant idea when you was 50 or 60 years old. That thing that's in your belly, it's time to launch it. Launch your net into the deep and watch what God does when you follow his instructions. But when we hold on to those things, they either die with us or God gives it to somebody else who's going to hear his instruction and just run with it. Don't hold on to that stuff. It's time. God has greatness inside of you. It's time for us to launch into the deep. Forsake everything that is hindering your progress in your life. Forsake those things that are preventing you from launching, and forsake those things that are hindering your relationship with God. When we forsake some stuff, some people, some nasty attitudes, some bad habits, and launch, we will catch the things that God has for us. Launch into the deep. Please share the video. Thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. I love you. Bye-bye.